On, guys, and after an impressive run for, who we assume will be a back-to-back MVP, Nikola Jokic led this team, and I know the Golden State Warriors won it, but Jokic did as best as he could, and hopefully next season Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. will be fully healthy. Before we continue the videos, I will mention Jamal Murray was actually behind Michael Porter Jr. in rehab, even though he had surgery before him. Michael Porter Jr. was basically kind of cleared to play, but they said they weren't going to play Michael Porter Jr. regardless of how he was. They felt like for his long-term health and the long-term of the franchise's future with Michael Porter Jr. was for the best interest of both parties to hold him out for the entirety of the season. Jamal Murray, was up to Murray if he wanted to play, and it looked like the knee did not heal. So we go into next season with $155.7 million already invested in Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, Monte Morris, JaMychal Green, Michael Porter Jr., Jeff Green, Zeke Nnaji, Bones Highland, and Devon Reed and Marcus Howard both have qualifying offers, and I would bring both of those guys back. Let's talk about it. This is a team that, look, it was kind of a gap year as they waited for the recoveries of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, and they were able to stay competitive, and they fortified their bench. They had Will Barton, JaMychal Green, Jeff Green in there, like I said, and they were, a 48-win team that basically was awesome because of Nikola Jokic's second straight MVP caliber season. Right now, I want to hear you comment down below. What do you think they should do? What moves should happen? Why and how? Like and subscribe. Let's go. So the Nuggets will head into 2022 offseason with very limited flexibility with a lot of important objectives. While most of the roster is set and should improve with health and continuity alone, there also needs to be a talk about Jokic getting an extension and bringing back some free agents and maybe, moving some guys around for tax purposes. Now, Nikola Jokic is now Supermax eligible after winning his first MVP. And he basically signed a $260 million deal for 5 years that would pay him $59.1 million in 2027 to 2028. And he plans on signing that according to his agent. And that means they're going to be paying the taxpayers for a while because Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon are all going to be paying a lot. And the luxury tax payments can range between $40 million to $80 million over the next few years. And next season alone, Denver could be paying $70 million in a luxury tax bill if the maximum, if they maximize their spending. And look, for comparison, the Warriors have a $170 million tax payment this year for Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and, Draymond Green, all earning significant amounts. So the luxury thing is something to look out for. But JaMychal Green has early bird rights if he declines his $8.2 million player option, and he's eligible for a 4-year, $64.3 million deal. And if they go for the non-bird free agent, if he declines it, he will get a 3-year, $17.5. And I think it's interesting because besides, Bryn Forbes and JaMychal Green, I think you got to look at, Facundo Campazzo and Vlatko Cancar. I think Cancar will leave, but Campazzo, unless some other team wants him, I know his role was reduced by Bones Highland, and Marcus Howard and Devon Reed kind of replaced Facundo Campazzo. Facundo Campazzo and Vlatko Cancar was replaced by Bones Highland and Devon Reed. So you could argue that Campazzo and Cancar are gone, which is fine. And when you look at this team, I definitely think it's interesting because what can they do? What pieces can they move? Because they hold the 21st pick. And I personally think a guy maybe like Harrison Ingram, or also, I don't know if Nikola Jovic will fall that far, but maybe Marjon Beauchamp could be a guy that they could go for. I just see the problem with this team right now is I want more wing guys. I want more two-way wings. If they can bring in, Tony Snell to be a depth guy, but guys like that, Terrence Ross would be cool. When I look over, bringing back Gary Harris would be cool as well. There's a few moves that, as you look at this roster, you think that they could do. It's just you want to figure out which one would be the best. That's where I want to ask you guys, what would you guys do if you were the Denver Nuggets? Genuinely asking. I want to hear your opinions down below, guys. But yeah, this is a team that I think if they make the right moves, they can definitely be back in contention and messing people up. So let me hear your thoughts down below, guys, in the comment section. That's basically it. I think they should go for a wing player in the draft who can be a guy who can compete now. And a guy like Osman Dang is a guy they could also look into. Or it's interesting to think, there's also guys like Kendall Brown who could be there. I think a forward or a wing would really help them.